Hello and welcome to my channel. It's the Network Specialist. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a video. Everything I will discuss in this video is alleged and in my very own opinion, used for entertainment purposes only. Again, everything I will discuss in this video is alleged and in my very own opinion, used for entertainment purposes only. Now, let me say hello to my peeps. Hey, Mama Bees, my moderator. Thank you so much for being here and thank you so much for all you do. Hey, Sharon Gottbalt, thank you so much for being here. Hey, Annette, thank you so much for being here. And guys, please like the video on your way in. And if you just happen to be hanging out in the bushes, no problem. Just like the video to help push me up into the algorithm so that people can find me. Now, let's get into it. This episode episode 9, Blame It on the Henny, was quite interesting to say the least. Okay. So this episode starts off with Cynthia meeting up with all of the ladies. They showed little clips of how she met up with everybody. She met up with Shamea and Kelly together. She met up with Porsha, just them two. And then she also met up with Angela, okay, to find out what happened after she goes to bed the night at the pool party. Now, keep in mind the way that they show her meeting up with the ladies, it looks like they've already made it back to Atlanta. So they're back home and they meet up. I could be wrong, but that was what I was, the way that they met up, that's how I took it. And if they were back at the house in Nashville, Portia probably had a hangover, so that could be why she wasn't there. Nevertheless, they told her, that they had stayed up to 5 in the morning and they had a stinking good time, okay? Which is what you're supposed to have when you're on vacation or you're celebrating a birthday or on a birthday trip, okay? So they told her that Brit had said Charles was cheating and he had an outside baby. So they were basically just going over, what was discussed the night before that Angela had a problem with. And they also told Cynthia what Portia said about, effing Charles, okay? And that Angela came down and after hearing what was said about her and her husband. And when she met up with Portia, she said that she didn't remember saying it. Okay. Obviously, she's going to blame it on the alcohol. And I don't doubt that she doesn't remember what she said because sometimes when you get drunk and you drink too much alcohol, that does happen. Okay. And Portia also lied because we have all heard the rumors about Portia and what she did with Fallon. And she told Cynthia straight up to her face she would never sleep with anybody's husband. Now, I'm not even just referring to the Fallon situation. There has been other rumors. There is a current rumor that Portia is currently sleeping with somebody's husband, allegedly. Then somebody also came back and said that the wife and the husband are separated because she found out about Portia. So I'm pretty sure all of this is going to come out, especially once um, Simon is released from ICE because he actually put this information out there a while back. And other people have also been talking about this information in the Atlanta streets as well. So she went on to swear that she doesn't know anything about Angela's husband, but she followed up with she does not have any intentions on repeating anything that has recently come up. Like Porsha is playing a lot of games. Okay. She is playing a lot of games, but the title of this video is No Friends, Just Allies. Because, in my opinion, none of these ladies are friends. They're just allies. They picked a side. Okay. They're there to do a job, and that's exactly what they're doing. And we'll get, more into that later. And, it's just kind of like the lies and the wordplay for me when it comes to Porsha. Okay. I don't know if, I don't know how they do the green screen. I don't know how that takes place, but it's just like Portia's reads are rehearsed. Okay. It's like a lot of stuff that come out of these ladies' mouths sound rehearsed. So I really would like to know how that process goes. So Shamea shared a message with Cynthia and Kelly that Angela sent her saying that after, witnessing the disrespect of her and her husband, there is nothing more to be said. She then went on to say that this is a fake sisterhood, and clearly their morals and values don't align with hers. Okay. And she said, it's all good though. Be blessed. And my only response is that all of these ladies have clearly picked a side. So I feel like it's Porsha, Shamea, Kelly, and Brit against Angela and Drew. And Cynthia is trying her best to stay neutral and keep everything under control. Okay. And that is a hard job, but Cynthia is up for the challenge. So Angela also met up with Cynthia to tell her version of the story. And she said that they were calling her Big Bird. Now, um, that was my first hearing of that when I actually watched the show. And guys, keep in mind, I try not to watch the clips because I just want to give my whole breakdown. Hey, Gracie, Quilting and Crafting, thank you so much for being here. So, and obviously, you know, what they said about Charles, she shared that with Cynthia. And I will reserve my opinion about Angela for now, but you best believe I got something to say. So Cynthia also took this opportunity to invite all the ladies to her annual Bailey barbecue, except this year she is having a Juneteenth instead of the July 4th. So that was it for that with the ladies talking to Cynthia about what happened. So Kelly had a birthday party for her dog, and it looks like she spent more money for her dog's birthday party, than she did for her daughter's party. Okay. Now, this is this is why I say this, and I'll get to that a little bit more later, but how are you spending all this money on a party for a dog, and then it come out months later that you are being sued for $150,000? Like, make it make sense. Like, this stuff is so fake. So Brit came and she brought her dog. She was the only cast member that I seen there. And I must admit that their dogs are fabulous. Those two ladies have some amazing dogs. Almost make me want a dog, but not right now. So Brit told Kelly that her mom would be moving in, with them in the next month. And when she said that, I was just like, uh-oh, red flag, because that never really ends well. But, since they have been married for about 5 years, hopefully their marriage is strong enough to survive moving in the in laws. because I would hate to see another Jeannie Mai and Jeezy situation play out. It definitely puts strain on a marriage moving in your in-laws. And Gracie said, I'm sorry, but Kelly's dog looks scrawny. He does look scrawny, Gracie, but that's the type of dog he is. It's something that comes along with the breed. Now, I could be wrong because I'm gonna be totally honest. I have never personally owned a dog. I had, we had dogs when I was coming up as a kid, but I never personally owned a dog, and I didn't have a dog for my kids because I kind of feel the same way as Melody Cherie when it comes to pets and dogs and stuff. I had 3 kids and I did not want the extra responsibility at the time. And as a mother, sometimes you feel guilty that, you don't want a dog because dogs play an important role in teaching kids responsibilities and just love. So, dogs are great, but when you're overwhelmed already, it's just a no sometimes. Okay. So Porsha visits her home that her mom resides in, and Lauren was there as well. And Gracie says she really don't need to dye it because it was stolen. Just put a chip on it. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, but you know what? You're right. They can do the chip, but I wonder. Okay, so with the chip, they should be able to tell the location of the dog. You're absolutely right. Because I know our family dogs have always had something on them. I'm not sure if it was a chip, but something so that they would be found. So she told her mom and her sister what happened on the birthday trip. But of course, they did not have much to add because even if they did disagree with Portia's actions, they probably would never call her out on it because for me, it just seems like they need Portia's financial assistance to stay afloat. Okay. And that's just my opinion. So Shamea is getting ready to start her surrogacy journey again. And I pray that all goes well. But from what I can tell and what happened with the last surrogacy journey, um, it just seems like it's going to be 9 months of anxiety and praying that she has a healthy baby. Yes, they are definitely Portia's enablers 1 and 2, but it does not stop there. Portia's whole circle are enablers, and she's surrounded by people that don't call her out on her shit, which is why she never grows as a person because nobody has actually outside of the fans because they drag Porsha, okay? But as far as her family and her circle, nobody calls Porsha out. So she just continues with the bad behavior. And Mama B says, I had a chip on my dog and it was stolen and I never got her back. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry about that, Mama B's. But yes, Kelly has went all out to make sure that if her dog is stolen, she'll be able to find it. And she even said that just getting her dog ready for the party, she spent over $1,000. Like, I can't imagine that. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot, especially when you have 4 kids. There's just no way. I mean, college is coming up. You just have to put back and save for a rainy day because you just never know when you're going to have an unexpected emergency. And that dog is not that, it's not that important to do all that to your dog. Wasting money. Exactly. And then now we find out that you are being sued for $150,000. Yes, you can say that your husband didn't pay his child support, and you can even say that he stole money from you. But at the end of the day, it's still your responsibility because You wanted to keep those restaurants, so now you have to pay the money to maintain them. And from what I remember, she has multiple locations, but I do believe that there's only one location open at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, this journey with, getting a surrogate is just going to be a very stressful situation for Shamea and her family. And I'm sure they did all the same tests with the last surrogate. So it just makes me wonder what went wrong. Because in this meeting, she was saying that, this girl has taken all of the tests, everything looks good. So didn't they do this with the last surrogate? But she still ended up with some form of cancer, and the baby ended up with all of these health issues. Like, I'm not even sure that I would even deal with that same surrogacy agency. Like, I think I would start fresh, honestly, because too many things went wrong that should have been able, they should have been able to see that something was going wrong ahead of time. Like, how does this lady not know that she has some form of cancer and she's getting ready to carry somebody's baby? So that's the thing that I think I would have just started all over from scratch. I wouldn't have went with the same people. I know it's not the same person, but it's still with the same agency. So I'm thinking that this time, they will monitor the pregnancy more closely, and possibly they might have the option to abort the baby if they foresee, any issues, which would still be a sad outcome for Shamea and her family. And Gracie said Shamea is having that child out of guilt. She needs to have a heart to heart and tell her husband, let's wait a year or two. You're right, Gracie. I just don't feel good about the whole situation. And I'm like, is her husband really putting this pressure on her to have a baby when they're still dealing with a sick baby, or is it her? So you think it's her that is having the guilt. And maybe she's having guilt because she's using a surrogate instead of having the baby herself. Like, I'm not really sure, but I just wouldn't do it. I'm sorry. And I wouldn't say never, but definitely not right now. Like you said, wait about 2 years. So Angela told Charles what happened in Nashville. And even he told her that he would never do that, meaning he would not invite somebody on somebody's trip that they didn't invite. So he told her right out the gate that he would never do that. And that's my opinion as well. Like, I would never invite. I'm the type of person, like, if somebody invites me anywhere, and if they don't automatically tell me that I can bring a plus one, then I will definitely ask, and I definitely won't cross boundaries. Okay. My family entertains a lot. I have entertained a lot in the past. Okay. So whenever you're hosting and people just decide they want to bring extra people, like, you have to feed those people. You know what I'm saying? So you might not have enough food for the people that actually RSVP'd. So that's just a no-no in my book, inviting people that were not invited on a trip. Now, I understand that this is a show and they want all the ladies to be there. Okay. I get it. That's why everything about this show is really starting to look fake. Okay. So Charles told her, that he would never do that and that it had nothing to do with her. Okay. She should have minded her own business. And that wasn't the first time she involved herself in somebody else's business. And Gracie said, but why is Porsha acting like production didn't tell her to? Porsha is spoiled. Porsha is spoiled and Porsha is selfish. So even though she know that this trip was paid for by production or Bravo, she still feel like it's my birthday trip, and she thought that she could get around not inviting Drew. Okay, like Porsha really wants to be the star because that's how this season was portrayed to everybody. Like Porsha was going to be the star. So she doesn't want the competition with Drew. And in my opinion, Drew is the one, in my opinion, that is Portia's biggest competition in this season. A lot of people think Angela is, and it just depends on your life experiences and who you like as a person. If I had to choose between Drew and Angela, I would definitely choose Drew. And you guys already know this. Okay? So, can we get rid of Angela and keep Charles? He said exactly how I feel about the whole situation. Everything he said is exactly how I feel. And unlike Portia, um, it seems like Angela is not surrounded by yes people and people who are just going to go along with whatever she says. Charles is going to call her out with the quickness. He doesn't care if they're on TV. Charles is going to say exactly what he wants to say. And honestly, that's the type of people that you need in your life. And Gracie said, if I was Angela, I would have broke the fourth wall and said it. It was production and gag Portia. You are right. And I think that Portia kind of knew that she was going to come, but I think that Portia planned on just ignoring Drew, really. And she was going to do that until she got that phone call and somebody told her that Drew and Dennis had filmed together. So at that point, she couldn't really hold it back. So even when Drew tried to be nice and said that she bought a picture, she bought a gift, and when she asked Portia, was she okay? Portia said something like, "You good?" With the attitude, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to focus on what you're saying. I'm going to focus on your energy. And Portia's energy was giving at that point in time that she didn't want Drew to be there, because by that point she was pissed. And Mama B says Portia knew she was coming. She had a conversation with Angela. She should have just said, I don't want her there, period. Yes, I feel like she knew she was coming. And she was just going to be Portia. And I think she would have been okay with the situation until she found out that Drew had been filming with Dennis. So Charles told Angela that he wants a front row ticket, or a front row seat, when Angela and Portia goes to war. Like, who says that? He is crazy. So, do y'all think Charles want to see Angela get her ass beat on TV? Not saying that, she can't throw hands, but we all know Portia ain't backing down from no fight, okay? I mean, we just know this. And Gracie said, do you think they are trying to ice Drew out and Angela is trying to save her spot on the show? Great POV, Gracie. That could definitely be it. And, according to what I've heard, Drew and Angela was already friends before the show. So maybe their friendship is genuine. I personally don't think there are any friends on this show, but it has been said that they were friends before the show. Hey, Paula, thank you so much for being here. And I believe the only reason why she walked away the first time when Angela came downstairs when they were at the pool is that Portia is desperate for this coin right now. Okay. I mean, I don't know if you guys seen her last YouTube video and seen how Porsha was begging for subscribers on her YouTube channel. She went somewhere shopping and she was literally, when anybody noticed her or whatever the case may be, Porsha was asking them to subscribe to her YouTube channel. Girl, you're a celebrity. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, I mean, it seems like she's really trying to get to the bag really quickly. I don't know if the mortgage on the house is behind and Portia is trying to catch it up because she knows that Simon is in ICE custody and it's not being paid. But Portia is out here on her grind for real. And Gracie said, fans are noticing Drew is the only one who hasn't been on Watch What Happens Live. It's giving this is her last season, and I like Drew. Wow. I hadn't even noticed that. Like, Drew is doing the damn thing this season, in my opinion. So Portia is definitely trying to get her paper up. And to that, I say, good for you, Portia. Stop depending on a man and pretty privilege. So I am so over Portia and Dennis. Just get back together already. This is exhausting. Their whole vibe gives me that they are still hooking up. Like, what do you guys think? Do you get the feeling that Portia and Dennis are still hooking up? Because for me, it shows all over her face. Now, do y'all think that Drew is no longer signed with Dennis? Because Dennis said that Drew is no longer signed with him. And the only reason I might halfway believe that, because I definitely got some digging to do, so that I can, find out for sure. But I was hoping that Drew got rid of Dennis after he clowned her on social media. Remember when he made that post saying, not so much on baby mama or something like this, like basically trying to have Portia's back, and this is your artist. Like, that was so unprofessional to me. And if I was working with Dennis, that would be something that would definitely be a red flag, and I would probably find another producer or whatever it is that he does for Drew. And Gracie said, Portia don't want Dennis. She is just trying to control him and was ticked off he still filmed with Drew. I don't think Portia wants Dennis. I think Portia wants the hot dog. Okay. She does not want to be in a relationship, but for whatever reason, I feel like the chemistry is still there. Because when Dennis said what he said online about Drew, for me, it kind of made people not take Drew seriously. Like, no, you're not gonna have people disrespecting me and not taking me seriously because you want to take up for your baby mama. That was so unprofessional. But Portia is just too invested in Drew's business. And those facial expressions when her and Dennis were sitting at the table, for me, that told the whole story. The chemistry is definitely still there. And like I said, I don't think she wants to be with him anymore because at this point, Portia feels like she leveled up. So the next man that she gets with, he has to have as much or more money than Simon. Like, and I just, Dennis does well for himself, but I just don't think that he has the kind of money and that he can provide the lifestyle that Simon was able to provide for Portia. And even if he could, he's just not that type of guy, in my opinion, to do all of that. He's going to be nice up front, provide gifts, just like Brit said that he brought her a necklace. Who gives somebody a necklace like on the first 1 or 2 dates? Like, Dennis wanted to smash Brit, and he wanted to do it right away. And it seems like that's his MO. He loves bombs, these women. And to be honest, a lot of men with money do that. They might initially when they first meet you, take you on a shopping spree, maybe spend about $10,000. And then after a few months, you don't get that type of attention anymore. You don't get those type of gifts. They do that so that you can think that they got so much money and that you're going to be receiving these type of gifts all the time. I've seen it happen to so many people in real life. I ain't falling for it. You know what I'm saying? Because and I've even seen where guys will take you shopping with them and they'll spend that kind of money on themselves to make you think they got it like that, but they have no intentions on spending that kind of money on you. And Gracie said, if Simon was still around, Dennis would not be in the picture. She's using him and Drew for a storyline. She definitely is. I think that they're all working together. I've said it before. I think that Porsha, Drew, Dennis, and Ralph are all working together. And Mama B says, it's such a double standard. Portia needs to go sit the fake ass down. She definitely does. After everything she's done to people, and for her to try to control the relationship that her baby daddy has with his artist, it's just really ridiculous. And it really shows how selfish Portia is. Portia was even trying to find out through Dennis who Drew is sleeping with. Like, girl, how is that any of your business? Portia is almost low key giving that she wants Drew. And remember, guys, Portia slept with Dennis on the first night. So that's another reason why I believe he's still hitting it. Okay. Like for you to sleep with this man on the first day, like it's just something about him that does it for you, okay? And that's why Dennis always brings the alcohol or he's going to bring up alcohol because he already know that's all he got to do is get Portia drunk and he can get it, okay? Message. Ladies, don't ever drink or get drunk alone with a man who you don't want to sleep with, okay? And if you're out dating, if you're going to meet with somebody on a first date or whatever the case may be, it's always safe to just do coffee or tea. Meet them for lunch, do coffee or tea, but I would not want to do drinks or whatever the case on first, second, and third dates. Okay. Maybe down the line, once you get to know that person, but just to protect yourself, do coffee or tea. Okay. In a public place. Now, when it comes to Brit's family dynamic, I have to say that I feel sorry for the mom. I can read between the lines to know what's going on here. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. Okay. In Brit's family dynamic, I'm sorry. Moving on to the Bailey queue. Brit was the first to arrive to Cynthia's party. And Brit and Cynthia seem to be vibing very well. And I can't figure out the connection, but whatever it is, they seem to be getting along pretty well. And did y'all notice that Brit never mentioned the business that's in question? You know, the one with the website where she is supposed to be teaching insurance agents how to boss up? When she was talking to that prophet, like, and even in her confessional, she never mentioned that business. So we all know it was a front. She don't have any other income outside of this show, in my opinion. Brit is a kept woman. And I'm gonna say one more thing about her family. Don't y'all find it strange that her sister stopped speaking to her after she closed down her insurance agency? And I feel like they were doing good as a family. And as soon as Britt met this man, She just shut down her business and decided to be a kept woman. That's what it's giving me. It's giving fraud. Her business is a sham. Her marriage is suspect. And Bravo did not do a good job of choosing these ladies for this season because no one is who they portray themselves to be. They are all either going through a divorce, faking relationships, faking business, faking wealth, and the list goes on. Hey, Andre Shannon, thank you so much for being here. And he said Drew Sidora is being messy. She embellished Dennis' name. Okay. And Gracie said Brit relationship with her sisters explain why she can't get along with mom. You mean her mom, the one she's getting ready to move into her house? I hope they're getting along. And not the prophet walking in prophetizing. This is already starting to look like a scheme that Todd set up. Like that whole prophet being there, it just seems very fraudulent. And Andre said Shamea Morton did hold Porsha Williams accountable. Angela Oakley did. And when Britt said, she talked about the dark hole in her confessional, we thought you were teaching, we thought that you were going to be teaching agents how to boss up and get that paper. Like, where is the dark hole coming from? You can't be in a dark hole and teaching people how to boss up. That's why I say a lot of things about this show is giving fake. This season ain't giving nothing but fake storylines, but I guess we will continue to play the game for now. And when that prophet knocked over the dish trying to give Angela a hug, let everybody know that Cruella had arrived. You misread. She said woman. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Mama Bees. So Kelly said she felt that energy, and I couldn't agree more. Now, Shamea and that Porsha joke was not appropriate. Okay. And really giving petty. Now, y'all know I like Shamea, but I didn't like that at all. And that's why Angela said what she said. I still love you though, Shamea, but that was really petty. And Cynthia was annoyed when Shamea said what she said about the Porsche. And she was not here for the petty vibes in her home. And I think she invited the prophet because she wanted to send a clear message to these ladies. This is where I reside. Don't bring that bad juju to my home. And Cynthia said, after the prophet told Shamea that 2025 is her money making year, Cynthia said, it's time to take a shot. And they did. These ladies was like, she already the bitch with all the money. Respectfully. Like, how this finna be her year. She the highest paid on the show. And Andre said Simon scammed Portia Williams. She married him anyway. Okay. And Gracie said Shamea has failed from fan fave with me. She did drop a couple of points. And that's why I say I don't believe none of these ladies are friends because they're just on this show to get a check. And the more Porsha mentions Drew's name, the more she's looking like she's very jealous of Drew. And truth be told, Drew don't tell no more lies than Porsha does. At this point, Porsha needs to be coined the liar. I like Shamea Morton too. She is going through a lot. She is. Drew is just a lot more private about her business. And that's with everything across the board with Drew. She don't trust these ladies. And quite frankly, I don't blame her. And Gracie says, can you review the after show? It's pretty better than the show itself. Yeah, I did see some clips from that. This show is a lot and all over the place, but yes, I will talk about some of the clips in the next few days. Now let's talk about Angela. I will be the first one to admit that she read Brit down. Okay. And in this case, Brit deserved it because she was starting to crash out again for whatever reason. And I think she came back at Angela because she thought that Angela and her had squashed her beef just to get to dinner. And Angela had once again flipped the script. So that's why Brit came back at Angela. She told Brit that she got stretch marks around her mouth and then called the girl a whore. Now, if she would have clapped back and told Angela she was going to set Charles up to F one of her friends, she wouldn't be wrong. Yeah, I said it. Bitch, you can't control how I respond. For her to call that girl a hoe, this girl have been married 5 years. Maybe she's a recovered hoe. Maybe she's a redeemed hoe. But who are you to call this girl a hoe? But you don't want nobody saying that if you don't leave them alone, they gonna F your man. Like Angela really be doing too much, and I don't like her energy. Like Brit wanted to get her lick back. Like she trying to keep her job, just like Angela trying to keep her job. She called a married woman a whore. Let me rephrase that. She called a married woman of 5 years a whore. That's got to stand for something. She thought that Shamea should have called Porsha out when she was talking about sleeping with her man. What gives you the right to call this married woman a whore? Make it make sense. Gracie's comment about why Brit relationship with her sister shows why she can't get along with the women on the show. Okay, but it seems like her and her mom have a good relationship, which is why she's supposed to be moving in. Brit is supposed to be trying to have a baby, and she wants her mom there to have the baby. You know, whenever she gets ready to have her baby to help with the baby. Okay, so Andre thinks that Brit Edie is a very interesting woman. Okay. And Gracie said, but Brit was poking Angela for no reason. Yes, Gracie, I just explained why Brit came back at Angela again. Because remember when they were at the whiskey tasting, Brit really did try to smooth things over for Angela. But when they got back to the dinner, Angela told Brit that she didn't agree with what she was saying. So she basically turned on her again and flipped the script. Mama B says her comment was distasteful, but it was funny. She ran her down, Mama B's. It was funny. I laughed so hard. And Gracie said, I don't know. The editing was weird in this episode. It really was. Even when they was reading the message that that Angela sent to Shamea, the way they did that, that was weird too. And Andre said, Bravo chose younger women for Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I really wish they would bring the OGs back. And let me say this, the OGs are famous because of their reads. Brit, girl, you ain't gonna make it. They are going to eat Brit ass alive because she just don't know how to breathe. Everything about Brit is fake, and you can't read. Good luck on getting a second season. Now, Kelly, that ain't got nothing to do with you. When she said Charles, when she mentioned about Charles' outside baby, now she's starting to insert herself. And that's not what I want for Kelly. I really like Kelly. She has a fun, bubbly personality, and I don't want her to become messy like Angela. And Gracie said Brit issue is she has to learn how to clap back. And that's exactly what she does not know how to do. The mediation between Porsha and Angela was not sincere and will not repair anything moving forward. Angela will always have what Porsha said in the back of her mind. She's also always going to remember that Porsha said that she wanted to F her husband. That is never going to go away. Some things you just can't recover from. They still have to, play nice for the show, and that's it. That's all it will be. Please tell me why Porsha had to touch Angela on the ass. Porsha makes everything into a joke. She really needs to act her age. Porsha acts so childish. Now, how is Angela more mad at Shamea about something Porsha said? Like, you were okay with giving Porsha a hug. And by the way, she's still married too. Okay? Porsha is still married to Dennis. So she was okay with giving Porsha a hug, but you want to give Shamea your ass to kiss. Like, make it make sense, Angela. It's giving, you really don't want that smoke with Porsha. That's what it's giving. What Dennis said, he's putting money on Porsha. That got a lot of them scared because Dennis let all of them know when it comes to, Porsha, she will fight, okay? And Gracie said, yeah, Kelly was annoying inserting herself with Angela and Brit. One thing we do know about season 16 cast members, them hoes can drink. Now, that's with the exception of Angela and maybe Drew. Shout out to them for keeping it classy. So on the next episode, we will get Frick and Frack. They are definitely coming back. Okay. So I am excited about that. I'm excited to see what not Porsha, what Phaedra brings to the table. I am so excited to see what Phaedra is going to bring to the table because we already know it's going to be a lot of shade. It's going to be a lot of drama. It's going to feel like some of those OG clapbacks, and it's going to feel like home. And Gracie said Angela felt like Porsha is a lost cause, whereas Shamea, as a married woman, should have been more understanding. Let me read that one more time. Angela felt like Porsha is a lost cause, whereas Shamea, as a married woman, should have been more understanding. Okay, I got you. And Sharon says, I just can't wait for Porsche Phaedra to come on. Me either. Hey, Sydney, thank you so much for being here now that I'm getting ready to leave. And she said, hello, Queen. So guys, that's going to be all for this video. If you did not like the video on your way in, please like the video on the way out. And if you just happen to be catching the replay, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel and drop down in the comments so that we can keep this conversation going. Thank you guys so much for being here. Bye for now and see you at 2.